Hey guys, welcome on another episode of Appetite for Collectibles. As you guys all know, I do my little segment called Hey, I Was in Star Wars. Today, we have the luxury of having probably one of my biggest toy idols ever in Kenner, which is Mr. Kim Simmons, who was one of the original photographers for Kenner and Hasbro. How's it going, my friend?
All right. Everything's doing great.
I
My
know that I know that we discussed that you were in New Orleans and you said you had a great time. Um, so you were there for a con, correct?
STCC.
And
Yes.
how was that? Was it super busy and packed?
It was good. It was good. It wasn't overly packed. I won't say it was overly packed, but it was full. I can't see everybody was having a good time. I know all the guests did. And from what I could tell walking around, which I did do, as I told you, it was pretty packed. It was not overly. You had room to walk and see things. So
Yes.
it was a good con in my estimation.
I've always felt like any of the conventions that are very intimate and not super packed are probably like the best ones due to the fact that you can actually have, you know, pure interactions with the guests and the fans as opposed to it being kind of like cattle where you're just signing and going.
Yes, that's
And I
that.
feel like it's more memorable for fans for that as
that
opposed to like you saying hi and then just bye.
well, especially at my table because I start talking, and then all of a sudden everybody starts coming around the table, which is fine.
Yeah. It's like a little big mini con of just you doing a little panel from your table.
I love doing that. I love doing that. It's not about going in and making any whatever money's there. It's whatever's there. It's about I love talking to the people that coming up and want to know this or that or asking questions. I love doing that.
Now you are living in Cincinnati, correct?
I'm outside of Cincinnati,
Okay.
about 27 miles east of Cincinnati on our farm.
And you've been there for a very long time?
About 40 odd years.
Oh wow. Yeah. So that's your staple.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Now, how did you get started into photography? How did what inspired you to be a photographer?
Well, I've had a camera in my hand since I was in third grade.
Oh
You're
wow.
not. I've got pictures in third grade. Fuzzy or no get out, but they were pictures. Uh, but then I was supposed to be a doctor. My father was a doctor, so that was my goal until when he died. I kind of lost focus and didn't really, and had to find something that I enjoyed. And I went to college and I discovered I liked photography, and I'm back into it. And so that's what I did. I ended up getting my AA and then a BFA and then an MA in photography. So,
Now, was there like a specific subject that you were like taking pictures of back in college?
well, I shot a lot of beautiful women.
Okay. That's mostly why people men get into photography.
Well, yeah, but it is. But then, but that's not why I just enjoyed being behind the camera,
Yeah.
um, and talking to believe it or not, no matter what the person is wearing or not wearing, I'm looking at their face. I'm looking at their eyes. I know it freaks everybody out when I say that. I say, yeah, right, Kim. No, I'm looking at their face. When I see the face, we start connecting that way. I've got a good picture. So that's always been worked for me. But after that, let's put it that way. after that, after that one, after graduating, we started looking for a job in photography, and I was at a design studio, and they said you got to go talk to Frankie, Roy Frankenfield. They said
Mhm.
he's about ready to lose a very big account, and you might be able to save him, help him there. So I said, okay. So I got his information, and I gave him a call, and he said, well, come on in and talk to me. So I went in, showed him my book. He gave me I had no idea what he was shooting, what count he was about ready to lose. No idea. I found out later.
Oh, so you went in there blind.
I went in there blind, but he knew what I was could do. He could see by my book at that time, and he said, "Well," I told him literally. I said, "Look, I'll sweep your floors. I'll clean the toilets. I don't care. I need a job. $75 a week. I'm good." And he said, "Well, I'll get back with you on that." And he called me either that night or the next night, and he says, "Well, I'll give you $100 a week. Let's see how this thing goes." So walked in. First thing I'm shooting is the Darth Vader head insert, the carrying case insert, and never looked back.
Wow.
First time I
That's
ever loaded an 8x10 sheet of film too. So
And how iconic that it's the first thing is Darth Vader's helmet.
yes. So it was fun. It was fun. I never looked back. And then later I did find out that it was going to be, he was going to lose Kenner.
Oof. I know. I've seen some of the documentaries online where they discuss about like how, they were this close to losing Kenner, and, how Kenner had like specific rules and stuff that they wanted done. Did you guys ever had to did you specifically had to deal with any of the, creative directors, internally with Kenner?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I knew there was, well, I knew Alan Taby. Alan Taby was a different division. Art Hefner, he was the guy who was basically the art director of the Star Wars line up in Kenner. And then the man above him, Bob Fox, I was talking to him off and on. And that was in the beginning. And then later, after when I was basically when they shifted from where they were in the Kroger building up to Elsnore Place, I was dealing with basically everybody, but it was Dave Reed I would talk to all the time. I was who I was dealing with. But in between all that, I was really going through the design studio at the beginning. Everybody was going through the design studio, but then I'd get calls, or Roy would get calls to go up to Kenner to shoot something there or pick up something from the sample department. And I got to meet Mark Millspaw. I got to talk to all the different people up there. So I got to meet a lot of the different people that normally wouldn't be talking to. You wouldn't normally talk to.
Okay.
So, or meet. And even when Bob Fox left Kenner, he'd come up and he'd say, I got a little job for you. Okay, take care of it. Let's do it. So, it wasn't, because Roy got a little upset with me for that one, but well, he said, he can't do anything for you. Why are you doing anything for him? Why are you doing this for him? Well, he was so nice to us when he was up there and he had power. Why do you have to be not nice to him now?
Yeah.
It's all the way it works. But no,
Plus, it always goes like a long way to help somebody, because later on it could always come back to you in a more positive light later on.
I don't look at it like that. I look at it as, yes, he helped us and he made sure we were there, and he liked me, and I guess all the guys liked me at that time. So, but I always was ready to do work for him. I didn't quibble about things. If they told me what to do, I'd do it. If I got directly from them, I gave them what they wanted.
Okay.
It's what happens when it goes through people that you kind of get messed up sometimes.
Yeah. Did you guys ever bounce ideas amongst each other? Like if you had an idea for something and you pitched it to them, were they just very open about it?
Well, generally what would happen is they would give me, for example, they'd give me the toy. Like I'm thinking I'd say Bacta station, which never made it out. But they'd give it to me and they'd say, okay, Kim, this is the first time I'd see it. They say, okay, I need you to shoot it every which way you can. And use your imagination, do all the different angles separately, all the different pieces there, do your thing. I'd come back with shots, and by then I was shooting 4x5 Polaroid, positive, negative, because Roy was shooting all 35 millimeter, which added a whole nother dimension to it. I switched it over to Polaroid, and so they could see what I would get, what they would normally be getting. It's all in the optics, and then they would go, well, why we do? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Let's do it that way. Or they'd work on it that way. They'd say, why did you shoot like it? Well, because it looks better this way. In my mind, I'm looking at, and they'd look at, okay, I understand that, and they, oh yeah, okay, I have to fill the space. They'd give me the area that they have to fill. After they designed the box, after I did photography. Oh yeah.
Now, I know you had inspiration with the yellow background for the toys, which I'll be honest with you, if you knew me, like my personal life, I normally wear everything all black, but that has to be the most iconic color ever. I love the yellow. It's very like welcoming. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's probably one of the best. I call it like I call it like comic book yellow.
Yeah. I can agree with
What got your inspiration in regards to that specific color?
you. They just said, Kim, we come up, we need another back. Give me some kind of yellow. Okay. So I went out and I looked for yellow, for a nice yellow that did exactly like that. It had to look right. There's a lot of different shades of yellow.
Yes.
And so it's basically, I found it and they go, I like it. That'll work.
And the cool thing is about that specific yellow, you can put any object that is very colorful. And for some reason, I don't know why that yellow just makes it
Pop.
like stand out, pop. Yes.
Yes.
And it's, I had a friend of mine who had a shop and, they painted their shop that yellow in one corner because I was like, you're going to make whatever you put in that corner, it's going to stand out. It's going to be the first thing you see when you walk in because it's that specific yellow.
Yes. It's a forsythia yellow, by the way.
Okay, good. Now I know the name of it. So then whenever I do decide to start building my toy room, I was going to make one whole wall just that specific yellow.
Yeah, and it takes a while to get. You have to. You'll get the feel of it. You will, but it's a forsythia yellow.
Okay. I'm gonna sit there with like the brush and like painting and going, did I get it? Did I get it to that color? Now, in 1982, you had created the large scale Hoff battle scene for
80,
Kenner.
82.
82, yeah.
82.
How did you visualize to do that?
Well, this is going to be. You've obviously never been to one of my talks.
No,
That's
which
a,
I like I said, I hate that we like the 2 times that I was dying to meet you, I never got to, and it was like crossing paths terribly.
Well, what happened is Roy was going on vacation, and he says Mark has a shot over there. He was the AE at that time that was handling this guy by the name of Mark Castater, and he says Roy was going on skiing vacation and be gone for a week. And it's just a tabletop. You'll be fine. So, okay. Okay. So I went over to talk to Mark and looked at it. And he says, like the one shot, it's a still shot from the movie illustration, I think it was. But he goes, this is what I want this, but I want something different. Okay. That's kind of like what I would always get. Okay. So I went back and I got all the different toys. I called up Mark at Kenner, the sample guy. I said, this is what I need for this shot I'm doing. And I believe I actually knew I was doing it for Terry Bernard. So I got all this stuff together. I mean, I was asking for micros and all the different things that I just didn't have. And I got it all down there. I had to go up and get it. But anyway, just a few blocks. But then I did the shot. I put it on a table because that tabletop that put it in my head. Tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
I took it over to him and he goes, no, Kim, this isn't what we're looking for. I'm looking for this. And he gave me another shot, another image that he was doing. He was looking at. Oh, okay. So I went down, put everything on the floor, got my literally tons of Ivory Snow and Deft. They're both laundry detergents. Used what we had up front, which was a mistake, but Roy had styrofoam in some of his stuff. He used a lot of styrofoam, crushed. Hated that stuff. Laid it out, started setting them up, got it real busy. Took a Polaroid. By that time, I was shooting 8x10 Polaroid, and I showed it to Mark, and he goes, Kim, he said, he started marking up all the different things. He said, okay. I went back, started all over again, not all over again, but reduced the clutter. Mm-hmm. I came up with a grid work overhead so I could, like you'd see in your drop ceilings, but there's nothing, I can't attach it to anything. It has to go from one end of the studio to the other. And I made a grid work so I could hang things from it. It had to be strong enough because my troop transport, rebel transport, was a hard copy.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So so I had that up there. I held it up there, used a fishing line to hold everything up.
Which
And
they're
then,
great, by the way, for holding up vehicles in the
yeah, yeah.
ceiling.
Oh yeah,
They're
they're great.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, they're great. And so I started on it and I showed him, oh, now you're going the right. Okay, got it. Okay, then I just went crazy. I put my mountains that I had already in the background, made a few more, put my background back, which Mark finally came over and said, let's paint this thing all up, which, okay, it made it dark anyway. You're not going to see anything. But that was what I was saying in my head. And I had just different planes. And that's why in between I would put the micro planes in between in the slowly in the somewhat in the background and things. That's where you'll see. And I actually ended up putting a micro ATST way in the background near the mountains, close to the mountains. So literally, that's what I ended up doing. And finally, he says, "Okay." So then, next thing I know, Terry Bernard is just one of the only times that I ever had somebody from Kendrick actually come down to the studio. He actually came in the studio, looked around, and I'd been working on it almost a week at that point. And he comes down and looks at it and he goes, "Wow, this is kind of cool." He says, "You mind?" I said, he flipped off a light and he says, "There's your shot." I go, "Oh crap, yeah, it is." You look at something long enough, you get used to seeing it.
Yeah.
And I just went around turning all the lights. First thing I turned on was the big light. It was a good overall light.
Mhm.
It still would have looked, it would have looked similar, just a little bit over bright is what it would have done. But minute he turned that light up, it's all lit by dinks, little small lights, hot lights. And the whole thing is like, as I remember, it was like almost a 2-minute exposure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you're thinking about it. Because
Yeah.
like we're on a fifth floor of a building with a rock basement, and big trucks would occasionally go by out front. So you hold your breath. Yes, but that's basically what I did. What I ended up doing, and that was it. He said, "That's it, done." I shot it. He approved it. Then Roy came back from vacations. Oh, we can do better than that, because I literally left one the ATST, which is right out in front. It's like, got a picture of it up here. That is just slightly fuzzy, just like
Mhm.
it's showing you helping you get with the distance. All the micros, the full size toys, they all work together to create that depth of field and that whole thing. So Roy said, "Oh, you got to get that, got to get that." So he started twisting the thing around, the front lens board around. I said, "You can't do that." "Oh yeah, I can do that." And I said, "No, you really can't, because that lens won't do it." It was my lens. I knew what that lens could do. It was a 5x7 lens for a 5x7 format camera. It did not.
Okay.
It did not have the lens circle that an 8x10 lens would have. But it's the only lens we had that would do what I wanted it to do. So
That's so interesting.
yeah, but his came back with a big circle on one side. It was,
He didn't wanna listen. He didn't wanna listen to you say that you knew your camera.
no, he didn't want to listen, but that's okay. But he never really after the beginning. Once I started really shooting, he didn't even he never came up and said, "No, that's not the way to do it." The only pictures I've got of him at work are pictures literally where I was shooting on something. I was working on a set, and because I still had to do my master's, so my thesis, and I was working on something, and I'd say, "Roy, can you come out here? I need your pic." "Well, why don't you let me shoot?" "No, I really want you shooting it, or not shooting it, working on it. Let me shoot the picture of you." And he said, "All right, okay." So I've got those. So when his granddaughter asked if I had any pictures of Roy, I said, "Yes, I do." And I sent her a couple of those pictures.
Aw.
That's the only they didn't have pictures of it. Usually don't have pictures of too many photographers unless they get really famous, because
Yeah.
because we generally don't stand in front of the camera.
Yeah, you guys are behind the camera.
Oh, behind the camera.
That's nice of you that you sent her photos of her grandfather.
Well, yeah, it's always only right. It was only right. You know,
Yeah.
so they were kind of impressed that I always talk about Roy. I don't take. He was there first. He was there first. He was shooting first. Yes, he almost lost it, but he was there first. And I always talk about him because there's I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
You guys were a team.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. Now, with so many of the sets and toys that you get to take photos of, do you even have one of them that is your ultimate favorites?
Photographs or vehicles or whatever.
Yeah, either photographs, vehicles, toys, whichever one, or if you have a favorite of one of each.
Well, my favorite image is really the Hoth battle scene. Hoth battle scene.
Okay.
Because I just that was just everything I had at that time went into it. So that's pretty much on that one. But favorite vehicle, I don't really have a favorite vehicle because I like them all.
Hmm.
You know, I don't like say, well, I'm like this collect these and have 500 of them. I wouldn't live here. Pat would kick me out in a heartbeat. She tolerates my museum as it is.
Yeah, but you probably have it like in a little space, or you have it in a
No,
in a workspace.
no, my studio, which is no longer really a studio, I can do some shooting there. I built cabinetry for like the dioramas that I
Yeah.
did for the books. Like I still have the Java. I still have my Rancor. I built a huge cabinet, one's above the other, like they would be in the movie. And then all the other one, the only one I didn't keep is the very first one, which is the Dagobah one.
Okay.
I didn't keep that was just huge, and I wasn't building cabinets yet because if I still had it, Pat would probably have shot me. But it's all right. I saved pieces of it just in case. But I built one for the barge scene poster that I did, and also for the Tatooine, which was the very last one I did. So, but I'd reduce it down so that
Okay.
'cause these things were 8 feet by 6 feet. They were just huge. So there's no way I was going to be able to keep all that.
Now, did you get to keep any of the toys that you were
I
able to take photos of?
I had them all. I had almost everything up till about 2000.
Oof.
Yeah, I know, but they're gone.
Oh,
They're out there. They are out there, and I know some of them Gus has. I don't know if Steve has any. Steve Sansweet has any or not. But they're in a few collections out there. Some of them are black hole collections, and I'm pretty sure that when they're combining this Rancher Obi-Wan with the three principles, they're I know a few of mine will be in there. I'm almost positive
oh
of it.
yeah. I've been wanting to go to that place for such a long time, but I know if I go there, I'm either A, going to be in tears just to see all the iconic items that they own, and like B, just be completely mesmerized to, like everybody always talks about like, I want to have this large collection, but like that is the
Well,
collection.
that's the collection. But I mean, it is a museum.
Yes.
It is a well, it's a Star Wars thing. I mean, you've got to be, and that's a little bit of everything. Steve collects a little bit of everything that was Star Wars, no matter what it is. And I started doing a little bit of that a while back. I said, well, I can't get rid of that because I might put it. Well, I ended up keeping it, and it's out here someplace. But I mean, I just enjoyed being around the Star Wars thing. It's fun. It was fun. It
Yeah.
really was. I mean, yeah, I was shooting other things too, but this was fun. I'd walk in and Jim O'Brien would say, Kim, I got to see you before you leave. And another person, I need to see you before you leave. Okay. So I walk out with my Star Wars shoot that I've got to do. Then I'd walk out with something that Jim would want and somebody else that they want. So I'd have to go back and shoot them. So, and they knew they'd get them.
Yeah. Because they knew that you enjoyed yourself.
They'd get them the next morning. I'd say, oh, if I get them sometime tomorrow, I'll be all right. Well, I'd walk in the next morning with them.
So
We literally worked from 8 o'clock in the morning till generally, depending on what it was, it could be 8 o'clock at night. We'd be eating dinner 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow. Did you guys have much interaction with George Lucas? Would
No,
he no, not once?
not once, but I mean, all my books, I've sent all my books, including the cover, to George Lucas.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
I sent each one of them there, so that because it is pretty much a catalog of everything that
Yeah,
Kim not,
it's an archive.
yeah, it's the archive.
Yeah. And I forgot who I was talking. Oh, I was talking to Mark Anthony. We were talking about this, and we were saying that like he wished that somebody could have gone back in the like went back in time and could have just taken all that stuff that was either sometimes like disposed and thought of like it not being worth of value and just like locked it up in a vault and said, like maybe one day this will be something of use to archive anything that was ever done. And I thought that that's, like that's one of the reasons why I started, like I said to you, I started this channel. I loved talking about all the behind the scenes stuff that you really don't get on TV or any of the documentaries, like the real heartfelt type of stories that, what happened back in those days.
Well, you start saying that and they go, yeah, I was told to get rid of all the transparencies that had anything with Revenge of the Jedi on them.
Oh, hearing that makes me want to cry. Like it makes me want to cry.
Trust me, I know, because I kept all the film. I salvaged film. I found film, and I tried to save it. And then why I listened at one time, there's Roy came down. He came from over from the hill and said, "Got to get rid of everything, dispose of them, throw it out, destroy them." Okay, and I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Part of me wishes like there was a DeLorean downstairs and I can get back in the machine and go to that moment in time where you're disposing them and being like, no, give them to me. I need them. And then take them back with me and just have them. Not even tell anybody that I have them. Just
All you
have
do is say,
them.
"No, Kim, do not destroy them. Just kind of put
Let
them
me
in."
try to like Jedi mind trick you. Like, do not do this.
That was
Oh
so.
man, that's so sad. But that would have been so cool to have seen some of that stuff now.
Yeah, yeah, it would be.
Somebody, I'm pretty sure somebody has them. They just
No,
don't want to announce it.
no,
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 they got
well,
like,
no, the only way that they would have had them would be if I had given well, see, LPK, the company that was doing the design studio that was doing that, they probably disposed of them as well, as did Kenner.
oh wow.
They probably did. They didn't put them in their archive. They probably did. They were told to get rid of them. They probably did get rid of them.
Now, was there like a big reason as to why they didn't want to go with the concept of Revenge of the Jedi?
Don't know. Other than I guess the revenge part wasn't good. It had bad connotation. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Okay.
You know,
That is understandable for around, that era.
yeah. Today they'd say, "Huh, yeah, let's go for it."
I know. I have like I want to say maybe 2 years ago I went to a toy show that was down here in Florida and I actually found like toys, but they're early toys, nothing, from the 80s, but it had the logo of Revenge of the Jedi and I saw it. It was 25 bucks. I immediately grabbed it
Oh yeah.
and the guy was like, "Do you even know what this is?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." I was like, "Here, money." And he was like, "Do you want to know more?" "No, no, just give it to me right now." And I still have it in my closet. It's just one of those. I love the title. I think it should have
Yeah.
been kept, but I understand in that era, it did, like you said, it gave the connotation of being evil, or it just didn't sound right.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like if it was around this time now, then yes, that name title would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. I just remember I do have one piece of film that has Revenge of the Jedi.
Okay.
One.
One. Do not get rid of that.
It's actually a negative, and it's the bandolera, Chewbacca's bandolera, and it had on one of the cases it has Revenge of the Jedi on it because
Ugh. Don't get rid of that.
Oh,
Don't dispose of it. Don't dispose
no,
of
no,
it.
no, 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 no. That's not going anywhere.
Lock it up in like the most smallest area where no one knows where it's at.
Well,
Have
so
like a passcode. Tell
yeah,
the passcode to Pat.
I don't have any of my original toys anymore. I got rid of all of those.
Okay.
So that nobody's going to come in here. There's nothing. Although I had a class reunion not too long ago, a couple of months ago. Some of the friends that I have that I graduated with, they walk in. This is my old studio. My studio basically was. Kim, you live in a freaking museum, and they just yeah, it looks like a museum. But
That's awesome.
I build my own cases. I've got a case for starting lineup. I've got cases for Dragonheart. I've got all. I mean, I've got cases. Then I've gone
You
back
have
in.
cases for starting lineup?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's funny. My boyfriend, recently, his brother was going through like some of his old stuff and found, I think it was like a Seahawks player starting lineup toy. And like, as soon as my boyfriend got it, he just like had the biggest smile on his face because it was like, he remembered being, a child and like playing with these. And we were having a good conversation about it for like over 30 minutes about it.
I've got. I mean, I've even got who is that? Jackson. I guess it's actually it's a hand painted one, but it's one of the stadium stars. It's about
Oh,
that.
wow.
It's about that big. Yeah, yeah. Because the woman that painted it, well, they're friends of ours, and she came in and says, "Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, I painted that. You see the brush strokes? Yeah, I know."
So I do gotta ask you the most iconic question that I was gonna ask you
Yes.
before. What is your favorite Star Wars film? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, it probably yeah, it's hard to pick because I like them all. Okay. And looking back at it, but probably the Empire Strikes Back was probably my favorite one.
Yes, it's my favorite as well.
You know, I mean, it just because I did that image.
I also just like it because of the fact that it's like it's one of it's there's not too many films where you get to see where the villain wins.
Right.
So we got to witness this in like the Marvel films with Thanos, but like, not too many films you see the villain just coming up top and winning. And the hero is just like you see it in their face. They're defeated. They don't know what to do.
Right. I understand. I do understand that. And I can when I'm looking at it in my head, because that's where I visualize it, I that's the one I see when I start talking about anything. That's the one I can see in my head. So it's starting from the Dagobah all the way through.
Yeah.
Probably,
Plus, it has a whole bunch of like moments in that film that a lot of people remember, like the epic line between Luke and Darth Vader, everything that happens in Dagobah, the interaction between Han Solo and Princess Leia. It's just like all memorable moments in that film.
yeah. That's where it's all at. I mean, it's family friendly.
Hmm.
There's really nothing bad for kids to see. Um, Unlike today where they get very explicit on everything. So
Oh yeah.
it's not that I'm against that. It's just that it's videos.
Yeah.
They're films for kids. That's what these are. That's what I'm pretty sure. Or it's like on the E1. Why did they put in Jawa? No. My mind just went blank on it. I see his face. The guy that everybody hates.
Emperor Palpatine.
Nope. They like him. He's a nice guy. Uh,
Yeah, I've met him. He's actually really nice.
yeah, he is.
Which is weird because like meeting him and then in your mind you're like, wait a second, like you're the emperor. You're the reason why all this bad stuff happened. But you're the nicest guy in the world. I have to separate the character from the person.
Oh, he's an actor. He's just a very good one.
Yes, but it, like I said, it was just so creepy to meet him at ICC because
Yeah.
he started talking like the emperor, and I was just like, wait, I can't like you. Like, why are you being so nice?
Yeah, that was a good one. I actually, I've got a couple of images. Well, one image that I had him sign this last time. I've gone to doing what I was always doing, to making a special print up, which kind of
Mhm.
made Michael kind of upset because that's how he got everybody's signatures. But I had this from the cover of my book, of the case. I just left a little bit of type in it, Star Wars, and took out some of the other. And then it's a field, and you've got all the ships in there. And I've got everybody signing it now.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We were talking about our friend Susanna Malik. So like
Yeah.
when I went to a con with her in Texas, she had this like ginormous Star Wars poster, and she literally was walking around to everybody going, "Look, you're here, sign now." And she was like shoving the marker. They were signing it, and she's like, "Goodbye," and walked away. And I looked at her and I was like, I need to come with you to get the signatures then. I said, or can I hand you my stuff so you can get the signatures for me? And she thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah. Well, she told me, she said, well, when can I no longer do any of this stuff, and it's all gone. She says, that's when I sell them.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, that poster of yours that you have with everybody signing, I was like, that thing is going to be worth value.
Probably they would. In fact, one of the wives of the guests said, do you know what kind of money you're looking at with all these people on here? And I said, yeah, probably. But I'm not. They're never for sale. They're from my museum here.
Yeah, they're for your memory and for your keep.
Me, just
Yeah.
well, I was going to show you one of the prints, but it's out in my room here. But I'll start with the bigger one. Oh no, it's Java. It's Java's.
Oh,
It's Java's, not Tatooine. Well, I can't remember.
oh,
Put all the different names on it.
oh my gosh. That's beautiful.
And then
See, toy photography is so cool.
well, see, that is that's actually two shots. Are you recording still? Good. That's actually because I could not hold the depth of field, so I had to shoot it. My mind was saying 1, 2, 3, and then I was talking to a friend of mine and says, Kim, think reality. You always want everything in focus. I said, well, yeah, I do, but no, not everything's in focus. I have to be reminded.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
These are kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry about the glare.
Oh, no, you're fine. That's so cool.
They're on metallic paper. So,
Yeah.
and I'll pull them out every now. In fact, I haven't even framed the ones from that everybody was signing this last ICCs from. I've got them sitting out here waiting for me to build the frame, make a frame for them. So,
Yeah, see, for me, when it came to like going to conventions and stuff like that, like I would always bring like a toy. I was bringing Black Series toys to have people sign. But then eventually, I made friends with this company called AMC Plaques, and they've been making me these like 8x10 metal plaques where they are printing the picture of the character.
oh yeah,
And then, so because they're so small, they travel better.
yes,
So I'm able to carry so much as opposed to having a big backpack carrying a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah.
And then, like I go and do my photo ops and I'll put that plaque with the photo. So I have the signature and the photo. And I bought this like amazing folder from Michael's and I love it. Like I would like to take that folder with me when I go to cons, but I'm also extremely paranoid that I might lose that folder.
Yeah.
And so I just leave it at home, but it's one of the coolest things that I own because I love to go travel and like to meet Star Wars actors or even anybody in like the horror community. and just have them, you know, sign and have that interaction. And for me, because I don't have children, you know, I like to look at it sometimes and I think about like the memories of like how much fun I had doing that.
Or there's a
And I,
guy, one of the guys I met down in the STCC. He was the guy in Scream. He was the Scream guy.
Lee,
Couldn't tell you. I can't remember his name.
yeah, I follow him on Instagram. Yeah, he was in New Orleans. I just didn't know he was at the one that you were at.
Right.
Yeah, his name is Lee Waddle or something. He
He
was
li-
the original Ghostface.
No, he wasn't. No, this guy. I don't think he was the original. Maybe I don't know. I don't know, but he was. He lives right there.
Okay,
He was going home every night after the con.
that's so convenient.
Yeah, really. They are convenient when they're in your hometown.
Yeah.
But yeah, he and I got to talking for a while until somebody came up. So I always, every time I go around to talk to somebody, one of the guys, because they're like nobody's there, I'll go up to talk to him for a little. I get to talk to him for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, within 2 or 3 minutes, people start showing up. So I'll go to somebody else, and people start showing up. So it's like,
And you generally love doing the cons, do you?
oh, I do like, because it's the people. I enjoy going, seeing the people, meeting the people. I went to one, is it Teeb up in Duluth.
Okay.
They're just starting. They had this. I had said their second one. I think it was almost as big as ICCC. I think it's modeled after ICC, but they do the whole thing for charity.
That's amazing.
The whole thing is done for charity after the expenses are made, paid off, and everything. All the money goes to charity. Like the first one he did was in his front yard of his house, and he wrote out a nice big check to some charities after that. So
that's amazing.
And I go, okay, this is good. I like this. Good. I don't have to take these books back with me, do I? I said, tell you what, I'm gonna donate them to you. Boy, did I get my wife pissed. But I want them to go for the charity. I want them to go for the charity. You and sell them for a good price, because they are worth a lot of money there. So he said, okay, I can do that. I wonder if he bought them.
I've seen your books online, like the set. I saw a couple of them and I was like, oof. I was like, I'm definitely going to try to get one.
Well, there's 4 different books.
Yeah, I know. I saw. Have to put a payment plan for that, but they're worth it.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
They're worth it.
Yeah, I really wanted them to be cheaper. I really did. But by the time you add up all these different expenses that have come in, like people are like, this didn't cost that much. Well, yeah, it does cost that much.
Yeah.
And we actually, on Return of the Jet, on the Empire book, we actually went in the hole.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we went in the hole on that one. And even with the Kickstarter, we went in the hole. Don't ask me how, but I'm just go by the bookkeeper here, so I don't know.
Now, do you have any other upcoming cons that you're going to be attending? Or are you done for the year?
I think I'm done for the year, but you never can tell. Something might pop up.
Now, my favorite thing that I always like to ask when I'm wrapping up my segment is, have you had any piece of advice for anybody who wanted to get into photography and kind of get into, you know, this amazing staple that you have built for yourself? What piece of advice would you give?
Don't. It's changed. It's changed a lot too much now. It's not there. I know guys that they're forced to go into video and to supplement everything, and now the video is taken over. And they do some still work still. There has to be people out there doing it, but there's not as much as there used to be. So you could, it's not so much studying hard, get the college degree for what it's worth. And that plus $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But, but it's the experience of going to college. It's the experience of having that background, because I had that MA. I was able to teach at University of Cincinnati.
That's awesome.
So, which I enjoyed totally. I'd still be there, except things happen. They really wanted MF. They would really wanted me an F, the MFA. And I asked my former professor, how do I get the MFA? And he says, well, Kim, he says, after 30 years of shooting, you've already earned the A. You don't need the F.
Yeah.
So he said, don't, and if they can't accept you for that, it's not worth it. And I said, okay, I agree with that and going on. But no, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and you're going to have to be more than just a little good. You've got to be today. You've got to be extremely lucky and somehow work your way in. There's nothing else you can do. The photography field has changed so much. Now, will it turn around? Will things change? And now with AI,
See, and that's one thing I've always, like, since it started, this one thing I've been extremely against. I would rather have somebody take the photos and make it and create it the way they want to, as opposed to it going robotic.
Well, I've got a friend of mine who combines it with his photography, and he uses AI to fill in where he can't.
Yeah.
And he's done it. Gorgeous work. It really is absolutely gorgeous work. The two images that I've seen, one of them won a first place for this brewery down in New Richmond. It was really phenomenal. But you want to know about it. It's a tool. It's not to replace the photography. It's to add to it.
To enhance it.
To enhance it a little bit. Okay. You got to have knowledge of that. The same thing I was teaching when I was teaching down at UC. I was trying to teach these graphic designers about the camera. They had to learn how to focus. They had to learn how to light. They had to learn how to see. And that became more important. Being able to see, oh, there's a shot. Understand what you're going into, and learning the darkroom. What's darkroom? The computer now. Photoshop, or a program like Photoshop. Be proficient at it. Show them, don't have to make excuses. Anything, just come in. This is my work. Don't heavily rely on AI. The back of the book or somewhere in the book you can say, yeah, I used AI to do this. Oh yeah, okay, I can see. Okay, I can understand that. And go on. Here's one without AI. Here's with you. Oh yeah, that works. Yeah, you can combine them. That'll stick in their head.
I like that.
You're not heavily relying on it. You can shoot without it. It looks damn good, but hey, you can enhance it a little bit, and that's something that will stick on them. The person knows how to shoot. They know photography, and they can add when it's needed. When it's needed, if it's not needed, they don't rely on it. Photoshop, AI, they're all tools. You either know how to use your camera or you don't. You have to see it. It's like I'd get a job from Kenner, and I'd be looking at it, and by the time I've got it back to the studio, which I would walk back to the studio, I've got it lit in my head. I just had to sit down and do it. To do it. That's why I was able to get things done so fast. It just worked.
I do have to ask, I can't say knowing what you know now, and then you would tell your old self, but if if you were never offered that $100 to start working at Kenner, and you actually was lowballed and was under $75, would you have still taken that account?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I still would have done it because it had been money. And then he would have seen the value of having me there, and that would have been it.
And then you probably would have been given more than that.
Yeah. Well, I worked for him in fact, I worked my way up within a short period of time to $200 a week, and I got him to pay my parking eventually. And finally, he had it on my. Listen, I worked all the time. I valued the film.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one shot where we were doing something with Procter and Gamble, and it came in. He'd left, and they needed this the next morning, and I started working on it and got it set up. And I went to load the film, and I only had one sheet. I nailed it. I sent it off to the lab. Roy picked it up the next morning, and he said, "How come there's only one sheet here?" Well, that's all we had. He says, "Kim, they needed it this morning." I said, "Well, does it work? Does it look all right?" And he said, "Well, yeah, it is, but that's not the point. Why didn't you order some?" Well, I figured I'd do it today.
Now, my last question for you before we wrap up, that is kind of funny. How does it feel like knowing that you have the title, The Man Who Shot Luke Skywalker?
You know what? Bob Woods gave that to me when for the article. I don't know if you've read the article or not.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. And I just grabbed a hold of it when we were doing something for the website that we had, and I go, well, let's call it that, and we did. And from that point, it just kind of grew. It does command something. People laugh. I know they do. The Spanish, it doesn't translate well to Spanish, though. I did discover that. The man.
My gosh, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'm Hispanic, so yeah, that does not translate well at all.
Well, I'm looking when they had me down there at the unboxing convention down there in Mexico City. They had this big poster. I should have asked for it, but I never did. And they have the pistola, instead of shot. And the girl that was, because Pat couldn't go with me, so the girl who was the translator there for everybody, she finally figured it out, and she goes, "It doesn't translate." No, it doesn't. No, I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I did not. I know pistola, so I was looking at it. Why? Because it doesn't translate. Oh, yeah, okay. So, but after she would talk to the people, and they'd realize, oh, okay, the man who shot Luke Skywalker, not pistola. It's kind of humbling, I guess, to a point, because literally I shot everybody. I shot them all. So, but the man who shot Luke Skywalker just tends to flow.
Yeah. Well, it's a great name that's given.
Thank Bob Woods.
Thanks, Bob. Well, Kim, this was fun. I absolutely love hearing these stories. Like I said to you, like I love the little, I always call them the little hidden Mickeys.
Yeah.
When you get to hear about all these stories, because, for people my age who didn't get to grow up in that era, getting to hear the stories behind it, I kind of like, my body just feels kind of like I'm there. So I get to experience it with you. But, I thank you so much for jumping on. It means a lot. And like I said, we're gonna figure something out, but I'm gonna meet you. I'm gonna get you to come to a con that I'm gonna be attending. And I'm probably gonna bring you some of my original sets and kind of get them signed or plaques, but it's gotta happen. Well, Kim, I want to thank you so much for being on. Where can people find you I know you have an Instagram account. I know you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook more. My Instagram account, I never go into, because Justin Burt takes care of that.
Okay.
He takes care of the Twitter and Instagram. He does that.
That's good.
Always email me.
Okay.
Man who shot Skywalker at me.com. You can always email me. You got my Facebook site. I try to get in there. Sometimes I don't. I'm bad, but I always check my email.
Okay. So guys, you want to get a hold of him, got to email him. That is the best method to get a hold of him. Well, guys, you heard it from the man himself. I appreciate everybody who's going to be watching this. We are going to be taking a break after December 9th, and we will be doing more live streamings and recordings starting after the new year. But Kim, thank you so much for joining on.
You're
And
very
everybody who is watching this, may the force be with you.